ESPN Blacksburg is W226AT Christiansburg, WPIN AM Dublin, and W246CR Christiansburg.
It's The Drive, Sports Center at the top of the hour. The Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable team in the NFL for the 12th straight year, according to Forbes. The franchise value ranking, which was published by Forbes on Thursday, said that the Cowboys were worth $5 billion, $1.2 billion more than the second most valuable team, the New England Patriots, at $3.8 billion. Steve Phelps has been named the NASCAR president, replacing Brent Dwyer, NASCAR announced Thursday. Phelps will assume the new role on October 1st and report directly to Jim France, NASCAR's acting CEO and chairman. Hokies cornerback Javon Quillen gets to wear the honorary number 25 this week against Old Dominion. He is a Hampton native. Due to Hurricane Florence, last week's scheduled ACC opener against the University of Virginia at Thompson Field was postponed, so the Hokies now open their 2018 schedule in the Sunshine State, first taking on number 17 Florida State Thursday night before traveling to Miami to face the Hurricane on Sunday. Kickoff for the women's soccer team on Friday is set for 7 p.m. and Sunday at noon. Both games can be seen on the ACC Network Extra. For ESPN Sports Center, I'm Trey Lyle.
It's time now for The Drive.
Alrighty then.
On ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1, 97.1, and live on the web at ESPNBlacksburg.com.
I'm just going to stop the show right now. I want to take a moment to recognize the fact that Trey Lyle got through that entire Sports Center without screwing up at the top of the hour.
About time.
Da-na-na.
Right?
Took me time.
Man, what is this?
Now you made it.
Week 3 or 4?
It's like 5 now.
We're in a month. 16. It was August 16th when I started. So
all right. So
and
just
4 days.
over a month, and you finally got the Sports Center at the top of the hour right.
Yep.
Woo! We made it, Trey.
Yep.
We've done it.
Can we just...
Let's just end the show right now. Screw it.
Okay.
Let's not even finish
I
it.
can go home. I
Let's
can go
just
take a nap.
take the headphones off. Let's just walk out. Let's just, you know what we can do? We can just
have Scott ramble for another half hour.
We can just do this.
My hands to myself. No matter how hard I'm trying to.
Scott Nason.
I want all to myself.
Scott Nason.
Scott.
I love Scott. Like a love song, baby. When you're ready, come and get
Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason.
Absolutely, let's go.
Scott Nason joining us today. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, Paul. That intro never ceases to make me laugh. It seems like every time there's something added in there, a little sound effect changing, but I love it. Thanks for having me on today.
We like to call it we call it Scott Nason the remix. But we
Not bad, I'll take it.
But nobody got peed on in the making of it. So that's the difference between ours and a lot of other remixes.
I appreciate it clarifying that, Paul, and let's talk about something other than that now, please.
Okay, are you sure? I mean, because we can.
Yeah.
We're kind of just freestyling this thing today. We can. All right. Actually, Champions League soccer is rolling along. Cristiano Ronaldo, along with his brand new squad, Juventus, wins 2-0. I find it interesting, Scott, and you probably feel the same way about this. I know how the Champions League thing works and just the random draw and the fact that, the top team from this division will play against the top team from that. But sometimes these first early matchups are pretty ugly as far as just the two teams on the field together.
Yeah, it can happen that way. Right now, we're to the group stage of the Champions League. This is where the big boys come into play, and usually you have in a group two pretty competitive teams, one team that's fairly competitive, and then you have a team that usually doesn't have a chance. That comes from the first qualifying stages. So you look at some of the matchups early on, you will get some of those matches that we saw Juventus, which is in Group H, along with Manchester United. Those are the two big boys. Then you have Valencia out of, I believe, Spain or Portugal, one of them. And I know one of your favorite squads, Paul, the BSC Young Boys. I know you're a big fan of that Swiss club. So you're going to have those matchups that aren't necessarily the best, but you will have those heavy hitters. Juventus will take on Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo's former team. However, will he be in that game? That's hard to tell because he got handed a red card, and a straight red card. That's no warning. And the call was rather suspect, to say the least. So there's confusion right now as will he miss one match? Will he miss three? The UEFA will be having an appeals court, if you will, or a committee look at the red card and whether it deserves an extra game or two. I don't think it does. I think one game is too many, and I think he'll be playing when they play Manchester United in October.
You look at that, and I guess I need you to explain, if you would, the automatic red. Like, what does the straight red card? What does that mean? What is the difference between that and whatever the other red cards are?
Well, according to UEFA regulations, and there is still a little confusion on how this is all going to play out. Imagine that, confusion in soccer. I'm shocked. But I know, right? A sending off means, a straight red card means the player will be suspended for the upcoming game in UEFA competitions. In this case, that would be Juventus' next game against the Young Boys. However, should UEFA deem the incident as a serious offense, the suspension could be extended. So as a rule, a player who is sent off the field to play is suspended the next match in a UEFA competition. In case of serious offenses, the UEFA Control, Ethics, and Disciplinary Body is entitled to augment this punishment, including by extending it to other competitions. In other words, given that the sending off was a little harsh, Ronaldo almost certainly won't miss the next game against his former side in October. Again, I think this was an unjust call, and I would expect firmly that this will just be a one-game suspension. Like everything in soccer, Paul, you just never know.
That is very true. Real Madrid defeats Roma, my favorite tomato. No real surprise here. Again, this falls under that. You have the haves and you have the have-nots.
Yeah, you really do in this one. Real Madrid, obviously one of the best teams in the world. Gareth Bale, one of the best players in the world. The Welshman having another goal, fifth of the season already, and we just started the season. So, yeah, Real Madrid, not much of a surprise there. I thought Roma might give them a little bit more of a match, but they should cruise in their group. Looking at their group, I mean, you have a team from Russia and a team from, I believe, Slovenia. So, yeah, they're going to cruise their group, no question. Roma might actually be the team that gives them the most competition. You saw what happened yesterday.
Gareth Bale might score more than Andrew Alex does. That's saying something.
Hey, don't disrespect the man bun and Gareth Bale, man.
Oh, I'm not. I'm giving him props.
He rocks the heart every time he scores.
Lyon defeats Manchester City. Now, this one feels like it's an upset.
Lyon.
Right, them. Lyon.
Lyon. It's French.
It says Lion, Lyon, Lion.
Yes,
We're in America. We're going to
French.
pronounce it the American way.
Lyon.
Lion. I'm going to turn your microphone off. Lyon defeats Manchester City 2-1. Scott, is this a major upset?
That was the upset of the first stage of games. Manchester City, most people had them the favorite in the Champions League this year after they pretty much cruised, winning the Premier League last year. They're a team that always struggles, though, in this competition. So I guess I'm not shocked that they lost this game. I mean, they still probably will get through the group stage. Other teams in that include one of your favorites, Paul, TSG 1899 Hoffenheim.
Yes.
I know you're a big fan of that German squad. And FC Shakhtar Donetsk out of the Ukraine. Ukraine is weak. Someone once said.
I actually have my my Shakhtar Donna Leon Donna Rice jersey that I wear, and the name itself takes up almost my entire chest.
Very good on the Donna Rice reference.
Thank you.
There. I like it. Well played, sir.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I'm having a really hard time talking about the young boys. This seems like it's just set up for so many inappropriate jokes. Who are they? Where did they come from? And how long before we don't have to talk about them again?
I would say 5 more matches.
Okay.
6 matches totally in group stage. Young boys, I believe, out of Switzerland. And Manchester United, no problem with them. winning 3-0. Paul Pogba had a couple goals. First player since Wayne Rooney, who's now playing in MLS, to score multiple goals and an assist in a Champions League match. And United, they should cruise through their group as well. I really think all the British teams, you had Liverpool off to a good start on Tuesday. They won their match as well. And, Manchester City really the only one that maybe will have a little bit of a struggle. But them and Juventus are going to progress because you have 8 groups of 4. Top 2 progress, much like the World Cup. And I would expect the young boys will be playing in the other competitions after this one. They have no chance. None.
Hang on. I found somebody that I can make young boys jokes to, and I won't get into trouble. Okay, there we go. Send. All right. Lionel Messi scored a hat trick to lead Barcelona to a 4-0 victory also in the Champions League. This, again, doesn't seem like it's a real surprise here, considering they were playing PSV Eindhoven in the group stage. Love these matchups.
Yeah, Barcelona may have a little more competition. This is actually one of the better groups. PSV Eindhoven out of the Netherlands, or Holland, if you will.
All right.
Not a bad squad. They looked bad yesterday, but you also have Inter in there out of Italy and Tottenham Hotspur out of the Premier League. So this is actually one of the better, more competitive groups. There's going to be a good battle for second place, but Messi, as long as he's not playing for Argentina, usually does pretty well in these types of competitions, and that continued on Tuesday.
Now, how many from the group stages will move on to what I'm assuming will be a knockout stage? Is that how that works?
Yeah, correct. Top 2 win places in each group. There's 8 groups, so you have 16 teams advance to the knockout stage, and then that's where you draw the countries, or I should say the clubs, as far as who plays who next. And, that's where you get the better matchups, because by the time you get to the best 16 club teams in Europe, you're going to have some good teams. Not many bad teams get to that stage. So you're going to have some decent matchups here in the group stage, but really the rubber meets the road in the next stage, the Sweet 16 of the Champions League, you might call it.
All right, so we need to switch gears from football to football. And it is time, Scott. We have to make our Eliminator picks. This is something that we've been doing since the beginning of the season. I and Andrew are currently in the lead in the Eliminator picks. We have gotten 2 out of 2 correct. You and Trey faltered a little bit in week 1, picking New Orleans to beat Tampa Bay. And last week, JW and I think the rest of us laughed at Ryan Dye when he chose Indianapolis to beat the Redskins.
I didn't.
And yet you did not?
No.
Okay.
I was rooting for him.
All right. And yet it happened. So we have to make our picks. I can't take Baltimore or
The Chargers.
the Chargers.
No, the Rams.
The Rams. Okay.
Andrew can't take the Chargers. Go Chargers.
And Andrew also can't take Baltimore.
See.
Scott can't take New Orleans
Or San Francisco.
or San Francisco. Trey, who can you not take?
New Orleans or the Los Angeles Rams.
And JW can't take the Redskins
Or the Carolina Panthers.
or the Carolina Panthers. And he did not take them.
I can say who he took.
Okay.
He took Buffalo over Minnesota. No, I'm just kidding. Took Minnesota over Buffalo.
He did take Minnesota. He took the Vikings over the Bills, so that's JW's pick. He sent that in to us today.
Safe bet.
All right, Scott Nason, give me your Eliminator pick. Who is your stone cold lock to win this week?
Well, since the one you just mentioned was one of the 2 picks I was going back and forth on, Minnesota over Buffalo, that's too easy. I'm not going to take that one. I'm going out on a limb, baby. I think I should get extra credit if this happens, because it's happening here in a couple hours.
He stole mine.
Kicker. It's been a long time. Give me Cleveland to win over the Jets tonight, baby.
Trey, would you like to just pile on to this one?
Scotty, last time I joined you, man, we lost. But I'm with you. The Coolers are getting open tonight. Tyrod Taylor throws for at least 3 touchdowns. Browns win.
All right.
I hope so, man. I
All
hope
right.
so.
Hey,
that
and if it
city
ties-
needs it right now.
If it ties, we get a half point. So
Is that how you're doing this? All right, you're making up the rules as you go. I don't even care.
I
Whatever.
love ties. I love ties.
I know you do. I know you do.
You know,
Double A?
I wanted to go with Minnesota over the Bills,
Yeah.
but that is almost too easy because there's no chance the Bills are going to win in Minnesota. I'll save Minnesota for another time. Let's get risky here. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears in Arizona.
Oh.
Good pick.
Yeah, I do like that one. I do like that one also. I am looking at one particular matchup here that I feel like you guys all missed on. And this one is going to be happening in prime time on
Don't go there,
Sunday night.
Oh, Patriots over
Oh,
Lions.
no.
I am looking at the Patriots at the Lions, and I'm feeling like now is the time for the Patriots to beat the Lions like a drum. So I will take
Very
New
good.
England. I will
All
take
right.
New England.
So should I go over them again?
Yes, please do.
All right. JW's got the easy one in Minnesota or Buffalo. Understandable. Paulie got another easy one. Pats over Lions. Double A got Bears over Arizona and sort of a risk, but not really. And then Scott Nason and I have the outreach of the week, but it's going to happen. Bud Lights will be flowing throughout the streets of Cleveland
Hey,
tonight.
sponsor.
The Cuyahoga River is going to light back on fire.
It very
As
well could.
The Cleveland Browns, led by Tyrod Taylor, on the near 9-year anniversary of one of the greatest wins in Virginia Tech history, led by him. Defeat
Look at you.
I know.
Sam Darnold and the New York Jets.
I know.
Boy, where could you get better radio?
I know.
than this?
I feel like what we need for Trey when he goes on those tirades is the NFL Films music playing behind him. I feel like that's
Well,
that's
Trey's
what
the
we
producer,
need.
so
yeah,
he-
that's true. He should. Why don't you go make something happen, Trey? For crying out loud! All right, I like it. Scott Nason, where can our listeners get more from you, my man?
You can find more about the beloved Lions up here and other sports on my sports show, The Game, and you can find it at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. And Paul, I'm glad you didn't take the Lions there. I was worried about you. I thought I might have to send some help down your way, but you made the smart pick for New England, and I love the Chicago pick over Arizona as well.
I agree. I think the Chicago pick was a solid one too, and I got to be honest with you guys. I hope you're right. I hope both of you are correct on the Browns beating the Jets. All right, Scott, thank you so much for doing this, man. I truly do appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. Scott Nason, yeah, definitely check out his podcast. It's a lot of fun. They have a good time doing it. Quick break. When we come back, Tina will join us. What's going on traffic-wise? We'll let you know next on The Drive.
You're listening to ESPN Blacksburg, where sports rule. 93.1